Hello, everyone. Good evening. I was not planning to come and do a live tonight, but a good friend of mine had a live and a topic that I so support, and I'm blowing up her comments as she's doing it. Like, I agree. Yes. Yep. Yes. So first of all, I wanted to give her a shout out. So if you guys don't follow Kelly Kramer, go ahead and find her on Facebook. Kramer is Kremer, I believe. Kelly Kramer Physical Therapy. She puts out lives on Sunday night and is a friend of mine, and she was giving a live tonight on babies, their head shape and kind of how to assess for it. And so go and catch her live. I want you to see all the good information that she brought. And her live just got me thinking, you know what? I really want to talk to a couple more points about that same topic, because it's so important that all of us PTs out there really help families navigate this, because I think baby head shape and what to do about it can be super overwhelming for families, and it can be sort of a touchy subject, if it's okay for me to say. Joe is on, Tyler is on, Ashley is on, Kelly. Oh, Kelly's here. Okay, Kelly, I don't think there's a way you can tag your live, but if you can go back and copy, I don't know if there's a way you can paste it in so people can find it easier, but there's her spelling. Kelly, go ahead and type something and say hi so they can see the spelling of your name and they can find you. But she brought up such a good topic that I feel like so many parents get lost, and there's a lot of judgment. And so we're going to talk about head shape today. Kelly's live will talk a lot about how to look for it. Go back and watch. What I wanted to highlight is the big topic of, is it for cosmetic reasons or medical? That is my number one kind of soapbox that I can get on, and the number one thing I want to educate people about. Is it cosmetic or is it medical? And it drives me crazy if I hear people say, well, their head will be all right because they're a girl. Like, she can grow out her hair, it's fine. Okay, and what I want to lovingly educate you guys about is it's not about if their hair covers it or not, or if it's a boy that grows his hair out long. It has nothing to do with that. You're protecting the brain. Okay, this is a brain issue, not a haircut issue. Okay, so that's what I like to let people know and get across. It has nothing to do with the kind of hair they have or the accessories you can put on, or if they're a hat person. It has nothing to do with that. If your baby's head shape is atypical, the reason people like me and Kelly and medical professionals that work with babies, the reason we so strongly feel that you need to get it checked out by a professional is because, do you know what that skull is protecting? Your brain. Okay? It's the brain that we're worried about. We're not worried about fashion, okay? So please, if you see anything atypical about your baby's head shape, you need to have it assessed by a medical professional. So that can be your doctor, it can be a PT. I often will find head shape issues with my clients, and then I refer them to local orthotists, people that do helmets and things. And I want people to know it doesn't mean you need a helmet right away. You may or may not. But most of those places give free evaluation where they'll do the scanning. They give the family the information. The printout says, you know, your child has normal, and these things are atypical. Hey, Melissa. Yes, see, Kelly says it's not cosmetic. Yeah, I mean, like, Kelly, gosh, I wish we lived closer. We could just, have coffee and nerd out over these things, but I think we're helping the world, girl. I think we are. We just have to keep getting this information out there because there's so many stigmas around it. But you guys, so a medical professional, a doctor, a PT, an orthotist, they need to help you figure out what is atypical. So you can have global flattening on the back from this angle. If this whole thing was flat like a book, which a lot of them get from laying in elevated containers like the rock and plays, the little bassinet things that are elevated, all that stuff that's elevated, swing positions, car seat positions, anything that's elevated, gravity pulls this chin down, and so you get all the pressure on the back. So when it looks like a book in the back and it's global, that's brachycephaly. That's pretty common from container babies or babies that are put in containers often. The one that you guys might be familiar with is if there's only a flattening on one side or the other, and that's usually associated with torticollis, where they get the opposite flat spot in the back. Either way, a professional needs to tell you what the problem is and if it's necessary to have a helmet. Now, I am a proponent of early intervention for PT. If we can avoid the helmet for your baby, let's do it. But here's what I would say. If you come and see a PT and your baby still needs a helmet, it doesn't mean the PT's bad. It just means that the problem warrants PT with a helmet, okay? And I will tell y'all, I love helmets for babies that need it because I'm protecting the brain. It is not my responsibility to tiptoe around feelings. It is my responsibility to lovingly educate the family. If this was my baby, I would put a helmet on this baby because their brain is what you're protecting. Do y'all know what's in the back? Vision. You know what else is in the back? Coordination, your cerebellum, balance. You know what's on the sides? Speech departments that talk to each other. Okay, do y'all want those things subpar in your babies? Of course not. So don't think about your haircut. You need to think about the brain. What is being affected? If there's a flat spot on your baby's brain or on your baby's skull, that part of the brain cannot fully grow into its space. And so that will be the part of the brain affected. Okay, I really want people to just not have a stigma around it. I don't want you to feel like PT has failed you. I don't want you to feel like you have failed as a parent. And if you see someone that has a baby with a helmet, they're a good parent because that means they've gone to a medical professional. The medical professional has said that it's warranted. They've got them to the right place. They've done the test and they've ordered what their baby needs. So I really wanted to touch on that part. I thought Kelly did a really good job at explaining kind of the preliminary things that parents should screen for. But past that, I agree with her. You should not be Googling this and trying to guess what may or may not be affected on your baby. The brain, it's one of those top organs. When we as medical professionals worry about things, we worry about the brain, the heart, the lungs. You know, those are big ticket items. So when I see a baby with a head shape issue, that is a big ticket item to me. It's just as important to me as like I have a heart condition. Because this is your brain. And the skull fuses, research varies, but the skull fuses around a year to year and a half on the late side. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. You can't come back with a 2.5-year-old and be like, well, let's go ahead and redo that decision. So I never meet families that say, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Melissa. Okay, so Melissa's saying, so much good info. You're helpful when one of my twins needed this. Yes, because you guys, again, I always give people the advice, not just what I learned in a textbook, not just what I learned in clinic, which that's all wonderful, but even what would I do for my own child? And so like, especially if I meet a PT and their baby needs a helmet, they're like, oh my gosh, my kid needs a helmet. And I'm like, so that means you made an assessment. That's what they need, and you're getting it for them. You don't need to think further, okay? I will also say, guys, that the prevention for helmets, you got to do it early, okay? I can speak to my experience. When I was in the high-risk infant clinic, we had babies with torticollis come in like 70, 85% of our clients. But then again, we also had preemies coming in all the time. And preemies are obviously highly predisposed to torticollis because they're all squished in there. And then we had like just babies born with congenital anything. And so every baby that came in was some sort of high-risk baby, lots of things going on that we had to screen for. If y'all don't know about torticollis, which is the main diagnosis you'll kind of see, again, tied to helmets, torticollis presents the asymmetrical flat spot. Go back, I have 2 videos on torticollis because it's not just about the neck muscle and it's not even just about the head shape. It's about how everything is affected, and that is all in a different video. Please go view it. If your baby has torticollis, your doctor has given you the name torticollis or has given you the name Plagiocephaly, which is one side flattening more than the other. But what Kelly talked about and what I also very commonly see these days is the Brachycephaly, which is the symmetrical flattening on the back of the head because of the high amount of containers in our society. When you have a baby, everybody starts buying you all of these things and these places to put the baby, but really you just need the floor. So please, y'all, just pass this along to friends and family. I want moms and dads to not feel a stigma about if the helmet is warranted, but I will say early intervention with PT is best, and you can often avoid a helmet, and I think that that's great. If you see any tendencies when they're 2 months and 3 months and 4 months, get in there with a PT. Don't Google, call me. I'm in New Braunfels, Texas. If you're in Louisville, call Kelly. Okay, call somebody that knows what they're doing and sees babies, because a lot of PTs know what the muscle is that's affected, and a lot of PTs treat a lot of different things. I want y'all to understand, in our umbrella of physical therapy, we're all amazing, but we all have niches, and you want your baby seen by a pediatric physical therapist who specializes in either birth to 5, birth to 3, first year, down, young. When you hand them a young baby that's a preemie, they don't blink. Those are the people that you want looking at your baby, okay? Because that means, yeah, they got it. That's what they do, okay? And that's where I came from. That's the setting I came from, and that's why I'm here to tell you. There are babies that early intervention, we avoid helmets altogether, but there are babies that come in and there's lots of things going on in their world, and the helmet, it comes into the conversation, and when it does, there should not be a stigma. It is another tool to help baby. That's it. So would you give your baby 5 things they need and not the 6th? No, you'd give them all 6 things. If I said, this is recommended, this is what you need, and then you go to an orthotist and they say, yep, it's recommended, this is what I'm seeing, and then your doctor says, yep, it's recommended, this is what I'm seeing, of course you would go. So don't worry about your moms in the yoga pants in your groups. Educate them. Most likely you know more than they do if they're giving you that kind of feedback or any kind of stigma or any kind of uncomfortable vibe. Then you probably know more than them, and you should educate them, because the chances of a baby in that group possibly needing something in the future is high. Okay, so I just want to kind of let people know not to be afraid of this topic and look at it as a tool in your toolbox. And you're a great parent. If it is medically necessary, you are having a PT, an orthotist, doctor, someone tell you this is necessary, I want you to remember, do I want to help my baby's brain grow? Yes or no? That's what a helmet is, okay? Now I will say age-wise, the earliest I would ever refer for a helmet is 4 to 6 months, and that's if it's severe and I can like see it with a naked eye and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna need that. But some babies, you can work through that 4th month, that 5th. When they're like in that sitting age, if they still have a flat spot, it's not going away, y'all. Because it's very common for a lot of babies to have flat spots in the 2nd month, 3rd month even, because they're all trying to figure out how to get off their back and start rolling and stuff. But I always say I worry more about a flat spot that still hangs around if the baby's rolling around like crazy and they still have a flat spot and they're starting to sit and they still have a flat spot. Then you need to ask your PT, you need to have a PT, you need to ask your PT, and then you might need to go the helmet route, because it's better to get it on early. Babies that wear them early wear them almost half the time. When you look at research and lots of babies in helmets, the later you get it on, you're kind of behind the 8 ball and you're having to move a head that is this big instead of a head that's this big. It's obviously gonna take a little bit longer. And I will say behaviorally, it's easier to get it on a younger baby because they're like, whatever, this is what I wear. They don't know. Okay, so I hope this answers y'all's questions. Hey, Karen's on, Sarah's on. Kelly, what are the 3 crying faces? Are you just like fist bumping in agreement? Matthew's on. Hi, Matthew. Do y'all have any questions? Send them over. I'm totally open for questions. You guys got me in my messy bun before bed. But Kelly, your live inspired me to get on, girl, because this topic drives me nuts when people give anybody like a bad vibe about a helmet. A helmet is fixing your baby's brain, and if my baby needed it, I would put a helmet on my baby too. So I don't want people to feel bad, and I want people to know there is early intervention options. I don't just jump to it, but when it's necessary, it's necessary. Laugh crying for yes to come see me if you're in Louisville. Yes, we will, and I have a feeling we'll be collabing in the future. So if you guys need a PT that does this, I'm in New Braunfels, Texas, and Kelly right here. She's in Louisville. So y'all call her if you're in Louisville. Paige, you're watching. Hi. So does anybody have any more questions about this? The main thing, first person with Down syndrome presenting tonight at the Oscars. Oh, that's super cool, Matthew. You guys, y'all have to go YouTube that. First person with Down syndrome presenting tonight at the Oscars. That's amazing. You know, I heard a quote the other day that we will have the problem solved with inclusion when we stop using the word inclusion. Mic drop. They should just jump on in there. Oh, that's amazing. I'll have to go back and check that, Matthew. So, do you guys have any questions about helmets and head shape? Go back and watch Kelly Kramer, her live. I really liked how she explained the couple ways that she could have parents look for it, and then she literally stopped and said, and that's all I would want you to do as a parent. I totally agree with her on that. You need to have a medical professional assess head shape if it's atypical, and then I want parents to understand it's not about haircuts. It's not about fashion. It's about protecting the brain and giving symmetry to allow the brain to grow in. And parents, if you're unsure, how is this limiting, or how is this kind of hurting my baby? Wherever the flat spot is, whatever part of the brain is supposed to be there, that's the part that your baby could have difficulty with. Okay, and I have seen kids that if they had flat spots that were not treated past the 6 months, past the 8 months, past the 12 months, and then their skull fused with that flat spot, they have long-term issues, because I see them through as toddlers in the high-risk clinic. They are having long-term issues in the vision, in the cerebellum balance area, in the speech departments. I mean, it's legit, you guys. Y'all really need to understand that. Tell all your mom friends. Be the voice in your little tribe. Love your tribe. Love the people around you enough that have babies, that when you see flat spots, you speak up. I know it can be uncomfortable. Speak up and get them to a PT. Are helmets for brachycephaly different than those from plagiocephaly, aside from where the pressure is directed? Okay, great question. When the person who is assessing where the issue is, so typically that's the orthotist or wherever they are making the helmets, by the scan of the baby, and they put like hose over the baby, like looks like they're robbing a bank, and they take all these digital, they can cut the brain, you know, this way in the scans or this way in the scans. They'll take like diagonal measurements. They'll look at the face, like eyes, ears, all that, and see if anything is shifting. Once they know the problem, it's almost like dental gear. You know, when you take a mold at a dentist, you bite down and that stuff like kind of hardens around your teeth, and then your retainer fits you. That's how helmets work. So they'll figure out where the issue is. They make the helmet to that baby, and then over time you go in, most of the places around here, every 3 weeks you go in for a helmet check appointment. And the place that they're wanting the head to grow into more, they slowly shave a little bit out on each appointment. And so if you get a helmet, whenever you get the cost associated, that's for like the whole helmet care typically. So those 3 week appointments every 3 weeks, you're not paying each time you come in for those appointments. You're paying at the beginning for the helmet and its care, the whole enchilada. And when you go back every 3 weeks, those are super important, because as the head changes, and it will be changing, that's the part I love for parents. They'll print the before and the current, and then the next time they come in, they'll print the current and the current. So parents on here that have had helmets, they know. I mean, you kind of get these updates as you go, and it's that validation that you're doing the right thing, of course, for your baby, but they will shave out the parts that they need the brain to grow as you go, because they can't just leave it open in the beginning. It's like too much change too fast isn't good for any head. So it will be under the care of a professional that does that. Any other questions, you guys? Let me scroll back up. Paige says, holla, mic drop. I know, right? Jeff Moore, welcome, Jeff. We're wrapping up, so y'all send in questions. Laugh crying. Matthew sending the love. Melissa, yes, love you, girl. Love you too. Sarah's watching. Karen's watching. Kelly, I can't scroll up any higher. Okay, so if y'all don't have any other questions, that's what I wanted to bring you tonight, in the messy bun and all, because it's super important, and you're protecting the brain. This is about the brain. It's one of the most important organs for your baby. It's one of the most important things for their future. Obviously, their brain. Next time you see a helmet, high five that mom or dad. They're protecting their baby's brain. All right? Peace out. Love you guys. We'll talk soon.